So Helldivers 2 had its first major patch, and for whatever reason, it's pretty divisive in the community. Some people are up in arms because it broke the meta, like the railgun and the shield bubble has been nerfed, and other things have been buffed. But today, my friend, we're going to focus on exactly what this game needed, and I think for the most part, the patch was an extreme success for Super Earth. The first thing that was changed was the breaker shotgun. I'll put the notes on the screen for you, but for the most part, they made it technically weaker, less ammo, more spread when you shoot, so it's a little unfortunate, but I think it needed to be done because a game like this shouldn't necessarily have a meta outside of it just being fun.
See, the breaker is still good technically, but I feel like now it's a little bit more balanced. I'm not just blowing through these things like they're not even there. Like, this is legit making me want to use another weapon right now. I mean, it's still good, don't get me wrong, but it's still viable. It's just not going to be the gun that everyone goes to right now. It's still going to be good, but...
And then, of course, there's the reduction to the shield bubble that's around you. It still blocks damage for you, but it takes longer to come back. So if you're sustaining a lot of fire, or if you get puked on, or the automatons are just kind of pushing your stuff in, well, unfortunately now you're gonna have to rely on your own skill, or you're gonna have to perfect your own hell dive. Now, for me personally, this wasn't a big deal because I kind of thought that the bubble shield and the railgun meta was kind of, well, ruining the experience of what Helldivers is supposed to be. This game is all about super explosions and having ultimately your own fun. If you want to bring in a laser gun that basically does nothing, or a terrible just pistol and fight bugs, you should be allowed to do that. Hell, if you want to call in a giant explosion on that planet back there, you should be able to do that. It's all for the sake of spreading democracy. So when this patch came out, I was actually pleasantly surprised to see it for one main reason. And that is this thing right here, the Flamethrower. Oh my goodness, I am a huge Flamethrower connoisseur. Can I just tell you, burning bugs with this thing is absolutely fantastic, especially if you, accidentally don't set yourself on fire like this. I'll put the notes on the screen again for the Flamethrower, but basically, they increase the damage of this bad boy by 50%, and oh yeah, this is fantastic. But I don't recommend using this on Bile Titans because you will still, well, get massacred by a Bile Titan.
So you can burn this Bile Titan for sure, but it's not gonna kill him.
But this thing now just completely roasts chargers. I mean, it really roasts chargers.
Now, this just really... it just melts chargers. I mean, this charger is not doing anything smart, but I think maybe one full of this one or two of them will really just melt a charger down. Especially if we can hit it on some of its weak spots. Please, can you get down here? But look at that. That was one full one and a little bit of the next one, and it was melted. And keep in mind, I was still hitting it from the front.
And of course, when you see basic bugs, I mean, they don't stand a chance. It's just so fun melting basic bugs.
Have a taste of democracy.
And they also buffed the laser cannon, and thank God, I love the laser cannon. Even when it was in its terrible state, I still love the laser cannon. But right now, look at what you can do with the laser cannon.
Would you ever think you would see someone on Malevolent Creek with a jump pack and this laser? Well, now you can do it. I mean, I don't know if this is going to be a super viable build, but I feel empowered is all I'm saying.
So the laser can actually shoot through this. You can see it getting melted right there.
I mean, of course, an impact grenade is the best way to do it, but it's just so satisfying to use.
But bigger things are still kind of a problem for the laser cannon, especially the charger. I mean, you can get behind it and shoot it in its butt, but I mean, it's still not recommended. If you run into other structures too, it's not going to do that. But this thing is great for decimating other things with medium armor.
See, I really wish this can do damage to fabricators. I mean, I could just sit here, and I want it to break. I know it won't, but if it did, that would make this thing ultimate. Get your knee out of the way. I mean, it can do damage. We're doing damage with it for sure, but it's not amazing.
The breaker shotgun wasn't the only shotgun that was changed. They also buffed the Punisher. So now this thing does more knockback and stagger damage when you're shooting at enemies. It does more damage. It has more bullets per shot, so that's more pellets. So I'm excited. I really do love the slugger, so it's great to see it getting its buff. Then they also changed the spray and pray, and I don't know how I feel about the spray and pray yet. It's still to be decided, but this one also got somewhat of a buff where it's doing like more punked through damage, which is pretty great. So it's good to see that one because I really was disappointed when I unlocked that one. I just wanted to spray and pray and get a lot of kills, and well, it just made me sad. For the most part, that was all the changes for the weapons, but they did more than just do that. You see, they also added different things that happened to the planets. There's planetary events. There's things like tremors. There's a flame tornado now, and also comets can rain from the sky onto the planet, killing you, your friends, and of course, the bugs and automatons, which I appreciate when it takes out objective swarming and I don't have to run across the map to do that, but more often than not, it's hitting me in the face with a meteor strike on my head. They also changed 2 of the barrages. That's the 120 millimeter barrage and the 380 barrage. So now, when you throw it in there, it has a longer time where it's doing more damage, and they reduce the spread of each one of them. For me, I used to find when I threw out the 380, it would just go everywhere I didn't want and nowhere I wanted. And I just threw it and I would just stand there like, that's a big explosion coming right for me. But now I use it and this thing's blowing up Bile Titans. It's blowing up Fabricators. I love this now. Come on, hit the Bile Titan, damn it. Oh, you're kidding. You're literally kidding right now. Also, I kind of bury the lead. Now armor technically works, so the armor ratings now work, but heavy armor is being a little weird because the enemies can still have a chance to do critical damage. So the small little like ankle biter scavengers can bite you and still kill you like in about 4 hits, but it's supposed to take like 7. So it's still being a little weird. Armor needs to be taken a look at again. I still think you should rock light armor for, you know, the speed bonus and whatnot, but if you want to use medium armor, that's still a viable option, but still kind of stay away from heavy armor for the most part. Now, aside from all of these changes, you're probably wondering, well, what's divisive about this right now? Well, in a game, anytime a developer issues a nerf to a weapon, it puts people up in arms, especially in a game like Helldivers that is PvE. So what's the point of nerfing things in PvE? Shouldn't you like buff all the other things to get it on par with that? And normally I would agree with you, random internet person, but today, and only today, I will disagree with you. What'd you say? Don't worry, I'll prove to you that I'm right. Let me just put this away before any accidents happen. Although this is a PvE game, you still need to have a delicate balance in the force here. You can't have your player running around on Helldive with a bubble shield and a one-hit gun killing your strongest thing out there. It's just, well, not balanced. So much so that it makes you, the player, have to have a difficult decision. Do I take these amazing stratagems and my superpower bubble and railgun and just one-shot everyone? Or do I lose the match on Helldive and bring a flamethrower, a laser cut? You see the problem here? It takes away player agency, and that is what sucks. You want to be able to say, hey, I want to take this and still be viable on higher difficulties also. And of course, the game is not really meant to be played solo, especially on those super high difficulties. So it made sense to nerf some of those things that were completely outperforming, especially the breaker shotgun. Now, I love me the breaker shotgun, but I was beaming things from across the map with that one. The spread was just like non-existent. So that definitely needed to be changed. And I don't want to be the person that says, well, if you're struggling now because they nerfed your breaker, they've nerfed the bubble and the railgun, that you didn't deserve using them in the first place. I'm just going to let you know that you're probably not used to how the game is supposed to be played. It's supposed to be challenging, like really challenging, even on some of the lower difficulties, like hard and challenging. So if you were someone that was using the breaker constantly and the railgun and the shield, you're probably now experiencing again what the difficulty is supposed to be like. I do think this is a good patch because it gets things off the ground and puts everything back on a normal playing field. I wanted to use the laser gun. That deserved a buff. I love using the flamethrower. That deserved a buff. But to see people one-shotting Bile Titans with a railgun that has 20 shots, I mean, that's crazy. You could still put it in unsafe mode and do all that damage, but you shouldn't be just one-shotting Chargers and Bile Titans. Look at me. Look at me, friend. Should you really have been one-shotting those Bile Titans? Okay, listen, I don't believe you. I'm reporting you to the Ministry of Truth. Anyway, what I'm excited for is to see other Helldivers out there using non-meta stuff because it's viable. I want to see more flamethrowers. I want to see more laser guns being used. They're so cool. And of course, I want to see more explosions. That 380 thing, it works now. You don't only have to use the 500 kilogram bomb on a Bile Titan. You call that in and just watch. So when you're playing those survival maps, and you're like, how the hell am I supposed to deal with 7 Bile Titans at once? The 380 barrage is how you deal with them. Seriously, call it in and then hide, of course, and then watch as the limbs and guts and everything go flying. It is so satisfying. So if you're one of those people that are like, well, they nerfed my thing, so now I don't want to play Helldivers. Well, I have good news for you. See that planet over there?
Huh?
You could go to that planet over there. Yeah, hello, Ministry of Defense. I'm going to need you to destroy a planet for me. Also, don't forget, just because the railgun is nerfed and you're like, oh, where's my power? Literally right around the corner, we are going to get access to a battle mech and other vehicles, okay? So you're probably sitting there like, oh my God, my railgun. Who cares about your railgun? Battle mechs. That's what we want. But anyway, I digress. Let me know what you guys think about this patch down below. Put it in the comment section, just make sure you're respectful about it because I trust you. I trust you're going to be respectful about it. And if you are new to downloadable content, why not subscribe? It's free. Click the big button down below and join up. I will greatly appreciate it. But other than that, I am Drifter from Downloadable Content. Thank you for joining me in Helldivers Universe, and I will see you in Space Vietnam.